Well, hello again. The temperature is 79 degrees and I am ready to get it on. I'm ready to do something different here. These adjustment screws have to come out of the new bucket I got from John up there in Ohio. Then I need to take the ones out of this one that are new that I purchased. You can see the shiny screws there, and take them out and put them in their place after I strip the paint off the on the underside over here, because it's silver. It won't look good on a white car. Anyway, so I've been really having a tough struggle. Some of them came loose, the screws, real easy, no problem at all. But when I got to these two right here, forget it. It was just, they will not come loose. So I have no choice but to resort to heat. And once I heated it up with my Bernzomatic torch, these two here came right loose. So let's do the next one, see how well we do. Low flame, you don't have to cook it. You're not here to cook it. You're here just to heat it up enough to where the screws will come loose. And I'm keeping a very low flame. See, about like that. That's all you need, something low. I'm just going to heat it until I get them, fairly hot. I don't want them glowing red. I just want to get them loose to where the screwdriver can start turning them. This thing in the middle will drop right out of there because it's just nylon. Well, I'll stay at it here. See, that thing just fell right out of there. Alright, let's see how that worked. They wouldn't budge at all. Alright, that one's loose. Last one. Okay, good. Okay, now I need to overly stress this again. You do not want to break the shanks or the threaded portion of these screws off in the pot metal. This is all pot metal. Once you break it off, if you can't get it out, you're going to have to drill it, and you're going to have a real problem on your hands. You got to make the hole bigger for a bigger size screw and all that crap. Take your time. Use a little heat if necessary, but be careful. You don't want to melt the metal. You just want to heat it enough to get the screws loose. But let me get them all out. By the way, I de-rusted a whole nother bag of bolts, nuts, and screws. Isn't that incredible? I got 2 bags of them now. I'm not sure if I'm even done yet. This is what I'm using. I've got about half a can of it left, so hopefully it'll work. I got this stuff at Lowe's, I think it was, and I think that's all they were carrying at the time. We're going to let this stuff sit and soak for a while. I'm going to go in and have a cup of coffee. Well, it's been about an hour. Look at that. That's how we're going to handle the stripping on this thing. Nothing to it. Piece of cake. Alright, we'll get to the stripping that thing later on, but right now we need to do something. This is the good headlight bucket that'll be going back in the car. It has good eyelets all the way around with a loose, you'll recall, has a loose, this thing here is loose, and I think this one here, no, that one's pretty good. But we'll go ahead and, this one I took out already. We need to do something about this one. I only had one broken one, and I told you the number 8 flat washer will fit it. So what I'm going to do today, we're going to put that baby on there, we're going to epoxy it on. Now, I say I'm not going to use JB Weld, but apparently, I don't know what's going on here. I thought Epoxy was a brand name, but apparently not. So, when I went to Walmart to buy some metal impregnated, this is steel reinforced. I thought I'd find an Epoxy brand, but they didn't have that. All they had was JB Weld, but that's okay. I will go ahead and steel reinforced. I'm still going to use it. So right now what I have to do is take my little moto tool or my little rotary tool. I need to get that paint off of there without grinding away the metal. You do not want to grind away the metal. And then we'll go ahead and rough up. Oops, that's real good. Drop your rotary tool. Let's see how tough it is. Well, it still works. Okay, what we need to do now is get that off and then rough up one side of this thing. I'm not sure which one it'll be. Probably this side here. I'll put it on my grinder with a pair of vice grips holding it and kind of rough it up just a little bit, or I'll use sandpaper by hand. You got to have a nice surface for the epoxy to grip. You don't want to have a smooth surface. It won't work so well. Make it rough. Give it something for the epoxy to grab onto. Well, let me gently get that white paint off of there. Anyway, and then I went ahead while I was at it and I used that same bit to rough up. Instead of using the grinding wheel, I just roughed it up with that bit. Just all the way around, got it nice and looking real good, nice and rough there. All right, let's mix this stuff. This is really cool stuff. I like this because the this tip on the screws. Let me show you. Comes right off. It's got two little pins in there to go in the holes. Now all I got to do is squirt it out on this cardboard, mix it with this stick, apply it a little bit around there with either it or a screwdriver. I'm not sure which I'm going to use. And then equal amounts. Takes 4 to 6 hours, they said, to set up. Well, the glue's been applied and you can see the washer's in. So I'll come back out and maybe in an hour or two it should be setting up a little bit, and I'll go ahead and press it down in. I'm going to be babysitting this thing for the next 4 to 6 hours to make sure it doesn't droop down or slide off or who knows what. I've got it balanced level as best I can. I'm just going to take my little screwdriver. I'm not going to use my fingers. Take a little screwdriver or something and press it down, make sure it stays nice and level. This is very important. It holds that eyebrow on, and you want it to look good once it's all done. Now keep in mind that this brilliant idea may not work at all. I know I'm going to have to shave it down a little bit because you can't have the washer higher than this level right here because the eyebrow won't fit down flush like it's supposed to. So do a little bit of sanding, a little bit of grinding and everything. Hopefully that epoxy will hold up. But I don't want to take it down a lot, you know, just enough to make the eyebrow fit. While that epoxy is drying, it's taking up my table. I brought this bucket over here to the table in the carport. I got some cardboard I keep on here. And I'm just going to slather on a whole bunch of this paint stripper while I go in and deep clean the house. I've been doing a deep cleaning in the house the last couple days, from the front to from the back to the front, you know, sweeping, mopping, dusting, doing the wash the bedding, and you know all that good stuff that guys really like to do. Well, we are really making progress on this. I think it's all been stripped. I may have to put a little bit more down in here. I'm going to make sure it's totally loose everywhere before we flip it over and do the back. Alrighty, tidy. It is time to give this thing its first wash. Coming off pretty good. Well, that's not bad for the first go round. We'll finish this up in the second application. Looks real good. And I was looking at the back of this thing. I don't think I'm going to be stripping this back here, and I'll tell you why. It looks to me like it's been undercoated in the past and when it came out of the factory. This is all undercoating. I'm sure it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub it and clean it up real good, and then just put another undercoat right over the top. I think that's the only problem I'm going to have is right here. Looks like a little corrosion is set in. I'll just clean that up the best I can with a wire brush on my little rotary tool, and then give that a good undercoating. I will do the undercoating before I paint this, otherwise it'll all come through and get all over the paint. I'm talking about the primer. Before putting undercoating on here, about 10% of the old undercoating flaked off. So before putting, I wire brushed it all, and before putting undercoating on, I went ahead and sprayed it with some automotive self-etching primer, and that sort of bites into the metal, this stuff does, and makes it for a better finish. After laying in the Arkansas sun for a couple hours, we'll now go ahead and spray it with the black, which is the primer and the paint combined. Anytime you have something like this that's eventually going to be covered with undercoating, don't spare the horses. Lay that stuff on there. I put a real heavy coat. Matter of fact, I had a half a can. I emptied it of that, and this one here is about empty. I had another half a can. Don't spare the horses. Even if you get a few runs, don't worry about it. The undercoating is going to take care of it. Now for the undercoating, you don't have to put a ton of it on there. This isn't, this isn't like it was with the inside of the bumper. We just need to put a light coat. We got plenty of protection on it. And I'll go ahead and finish up the opposite side, or the front side, in the next video. So until next time, this is John.